So today we're talking about two movies, and both movies are not gonna have a recreate sign over, especially Space Jam: A New Legacy. See, but today we're talking about the Black Widow box office. According to the Phantom Menace, Black Widow is a flop. Yep, the Phantom Menace are already going around, saying, "Oh my God, Black Widow is a flop." But currently, Black Widow is at around $80 million loss. It needs to make like 400 to $420 million break even. Because it was Disney needs to make it still was like a, but with Disney Plus sales, it's down to like a 80 to $70 million loss, which it will likely make back this money. The Whereas again, the Phantom Menace has been on their chest saying, "Oh my God, Black Widow is a flop. It's losing money on now." And of course, they released the second weekend of Disney Plus sales. So this movie will likely, if you compare it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yes, it's not doing too well against the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But again, you gotta realize, but most of these movies released before the pandemic. The pandemic screwed all the movie releases up. Black Widow, if there was no pandemic, would be grossing. What was it? It would be grossing Doctor Strange numbers or Ant Man or outgrossing For the Dark World. But it's gonna probably end up grossing similar to For the Dark World at the end. Black Widow is currently here, and the current movie that is being compared to is Ant Man and the Wasp, and For the Dark World, which had abysmal legs at the box office, as well. For the Dark World, which had abysmal legs at the box office. This year, 204 million. Black Widow is performing similar to both movies here at the box office, so it's gonna probably end up making that amount of money as For the Dark World. And For the Dark World, ever the last two have it did release in China. Black Widow likely make around 400 to $500 million without a China release date, which means it'll still make money. But according to Phantom Menace, this means, oh my God, Marvel's dead. Marvel needs to get woke and go broke, blah blah blah. But it's Marvel might actually be dying. You never know. The fact that Marvel is using dead characters to sell movies is just really, really, really sad and really, really, really strange. Excuse me for the thought, but yeah, it is definitely one of the lesser budgeted Marvel movies. The one of the higher budgeted Marvel movies because for some reason movie budgets are now extremely huge. But if we compare Black Widow to, let's just say, other pandemic releases, so F9, The Fast Saga, another movie that the fandom has compared this to is, of course, Quiet Place 2, which, why is that even a comparison when both movies, F9, The Fast Saga, and Black Widow, are both beating the movie? And yeah, Fast 9 and Fast Saga, that was a holiday weekend as well. So here, but here's a Quiet Place Part 2 versus, and Fast 9 The Fast Saga has made $455 million, well, domestically, and $446 million worldwide. Black Widow's definitely gonna make that much money, so it's definitely gonna be probably continue to be the highest grossing movie of the year until, of course, Suicide Squad comes out. That movie might pass Black Widow. Shang-Chi might, but I think Marvel is still on its way out. I think that is inevitable. Franchise fatigue is probably another thing that's happening with not Captain Marvel, with, of course, Black Widow. I think franchise fatigue is definitely a factor here because if you really look at this, a lot of movies that are releasing are sequels and movies that just nobody asked for. The Boss Baby 2 and Space Jam: A New Legacy. Again, for some reason, Boss Baby 2 has its international release dates all in September and October, so we can't really compare that to any other movie releases. But apparently I'm a troll for saying Black Widow is not a flop. It is still coming at an $80 million loss at this moment, which that means Black Widow is in flop territory right now. But if Black Widow has better legs throughout the upcoming 2 weekends, which again, its main competition will be G.I. Joe or Snake Eyes and Jungle Cruise, G.I. Joe, I think, should be able to take money away from Black Widow. But Jungle Cruise, I think that's gonna be a bigger flop. That's as big as a flop as Wire, and of course, Soul and actually Soul's on Disney Plus, so let's ignore Soul. But and Mulan. Okay, nobody cared about those two movies, and this is Black Widow. Worldwide box office $226 million at the worldwide box office. Fast 9, again, the difference is that this movie has a China release date. Black Widow just everywhere else but China. Same thing with Godzilla vs. Kong. Also had that $200 million in China. And these three movies have made money. Fast 9, The Fast Saga, Quiet Place Part 2, and Godzilla vs. Kong. If we put in a Space Jam: A New Legacy, see was the next highest opening since the pandemic. It is actually outselling Godzilla versus Kong here. Absolutely here. We have Quiet Place Part 2. Quiet Place Part 2, I think, should end up grossing $160 million world domestically. Fast 9. The way it's going, it'll probably go to $880 million. And Black Widow, we could put in For the Dark World here and see how it's comparing. Here. And For the Dark World had abysmal ratings as a box office, as we all know. And we end up grossing $203 million. So this movie could make up around here. But the movie that is, of course, most compared to is Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie is actually doing neck to neck with Ant-Man and the Wasp at the box office. And might slightly goes underneath Ant-Man and the Wasp. So technically it is performing quote-unquote Ant-Man numbers. It is performing through the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, also had that drop at the box office. Because, again, nobody really gave a shit about Ant-Man and his pointless adventures. But, but 29 million, 62% drop for here. I think, I don't know, I guess the For the Dark World's drop at the box office. Okay, Marvel. But yeah, the hilarious thing is, they keep saying that, Black Widow is a flop. They keep saying good will go broke. But then they praise, of course, Fast 9, which is absolutely the strains. They're praising Fast 9, a Fast Saga. Oh my god, people actually want to see movies in the theaters. But the movie had the same drop as Black Widow. I believe, the same drop as Black Widow. Where it says photo proof, actually it's a 1% difference. It's a 1% difference for Black Widow and Fast 9, the Fast Saga. So the movie basically dropped basically the same percentage-wise. But they're praising Fast 9, the Fast Saga. But if F9, the Fast Saga was Black Widow, they're like, oh my god, F9, the Fast Saga is the worst movie ever. It's bombing at the box office. It's flopping. Nobody wants to see it. Because apparently the domestic market is the only markets that matter at the box office, apparently. That's the only markets that matter to the fandom menace. And here we have For the Dark World here. This is For the Dark World. It's amazing amazing ways. Actually, it didn't drop as badly as I thought it did. I thought it would drop much harder, but it did release during a holiday month here. Yeah, but For the Dark World continued having 50% drops here at the box office. And we have Endgame. I think that Endgame and Ant-Man and the Wasp. No, not for the Endgame and Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think are the only real comparisons here. Endgame dropped 59%. I thought it dropped over 60%, but it dropped 59%. But Endgame didn't really have that great ratings either. Marvel is just, I think, after Endgame is on its way. I know Spider-Man No Way Far From Home did really well. It made $1 billion at the box office, but we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. It dropped 62% at the box office. I think Marvel is just on its way out. Fantastic Fatigue is probably the main fake here. I think people are sick of Marvel and want something new. It isn't get woke, go broke. Oh my God, we won, or blah blah blah. I think it's a your standard franchise critique because you've seen the same thing of Fast Nine, which is a movie that they praised and called a masterpiece. That's the most ironic thing here. They called Fast Nine the Fast Saga, the F9 the Fast Saga a masterpiece. They said, "Oh my God, this movie's doing so amazing at the box office. It's making so much money at the box office." This, it is the highest grossing movie of the year so far by Hollywood movie, the in domestic and international box office. But this movie is doing basically like this. The movie might actually not even make the $135 million at the box office, and absolutely just proves that the Phantom Menace has double standards for movies and films. I think the first real Marvel flop will be the Eternals. Or does anyone give a crap about the Eternals? Basically, I think that's like the movie that nobody cares about. Okay, you and yeah, Sing C comes out. Yeah, Sing C. That's a pretty strange one. Yeah, that's a wild card. That might flop. That might do well. But then we have movies like the Marvels. I think the Marvels is gonna flop. I don't care what people say. I think that's be the second or third Marvel flop. If four of them further does abysmal at the box office as well. Well, but yeah, completely. That's just a completely strange title. Love and Thunder. That's like a rock band name more than an actual movie. But yeah, I think more a lot of these earlier Marvel movies didn't have massive drop offs because Marvel was starting to get its groove off and starting to get popular back in the day. Like $85 to $90 million openings were the norm for Marvel, except for Ant-Man. Once again, Black Widow was apparently doing Ant-Man numbers, but Ant-Man opened with $57 million at the box office. Yeah. And Black Widow is gonna definitely get it past the $180 million by Black Widow. Yeah. Black Widow and the Punisher. Yeah, Black Widow is beating Ant-Man at the box office. But it's apparently doing Ant-Man numbers, according to the Phantom Menace. It is definitely gonna beat Ant-Man at the box office. So we don't have to worry about Black Widow doing worse than Ant-Man. But I think worldwide it may actually do similar to Ant-Man because Black Widow doesn't have a China release. I think without the China release, Black Widow is not going to gross over $550 million at the box office. And yeah, two new movies coming out is Snake Eyes and Old. Yeah. That's basically about this video. Goodbye.